Alright. Alright, Panya Hakwadam. Alright, rising facing east. Call Halayim La. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ba'chakwadash. Of course, giving all praise and honor and glory to the Most High, Yahweh. That's the true name of the Heavenly Father. And His only begotten Son's name is Yahushai. Alright, that's in the Paleo-Hebrew, the ancient language that has been returned unto the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, mainly us the elect, to call upon our power with one consent. Ba'ashem, Ba'chakwadash, the name of the Spirit Holy. Of course, those multitude of angels that help us, that are heirs to, of course, preach this gospel and to wake up the rest of the remnant of the elect. All right, we're the Great Millstone Plaintables camp. Of course, giving double honors to the elder apostles, the Great Millstone. Well, peace and salutation to the elect again. All right, first fruits, we're just going to start. You know, we in the downfall of Babylon the Great. A lot of false doctrines going out. I'm going to let the brother Mayim open it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can go get me 28 and 8, man.
28?
Shot, yeah.
What's that, Jeremiah?
Yeah, Jeremiah 28 and 8.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, we in the spirit, like, brother could just say something. We in the spirit locked. So, like, a lot of y'all that's out there and stuff, and y'all, you know, like, I don't even go to that scripture like that. And, you know, the Lord got us on, like, it's a spirit that's going out, you know? Like, there's multitude of angels that help us preach and minister this gospel, you know? So, you know, that's you know, another thing for y'all to spiritually discern, you know? In these days, like, people going, you know, they're going to see who the men of the Lord, the true men of the Lord is, you know? So, at Jeremiah chapter 28, 8, yep, so.
I got it.
You can go. I got it. Okay. It says here, this is Jeremiah chapter 28 and 8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence.
Yeah, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied against most kingdoms and countries and rulers, man. We don't have a 501c3 Charter Act, but basically we have an alliance with the government, and we can't speak about certain issues and topics. And we know that the scriptures speak about, it says in 2nd Ezra 16th chapter, it said, I would bring you with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before. So we're supposed to come out in the highways and byways and warn the people of the dangers that's coming. But a lot of these Christian churches and also the people that call themselves Israel is not speaking about these topics, these issues. So they're not warning the sheep. Read it again.
Yep, this Jeremiah 28 and 8, it says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence.
So if you have preachers and prophets that's joined hand in hand with the leadership, then you know that they off. Because the prophets always been speaking out against the governments and against the wicked people too. Yeah. And we don't have any bars on our mouth. Well, you can't bribe our leadership. You know, we have an upstanding and righteous leadership headed by Apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle Tahar, on down to Ariam Lab and Apostle Ricard and Apostle Gabar, and the bishops in Connecticut.
Gabar, Apostle Gabar, Elder Gabar, you know, second command.
Yeah, they could be jet setting around the world. They could have took the bad. They could have been riding around the Maybachs. But they stand out in the highways and the byways week in and week out, pushing this truth without no bribes, man. The prophets can't be bribed. See, we ain't walking around here in fresh garments. We're not sitting in lofty buildings and churches with a congregation, mostly 90% women, basically siphoning their money out of their pockets, speaking smooth things, man. We out here in the winter, the spring, the summer, the fall, pushing forth this 100% truth, man. Against great kingdoms. And one of those prophecies that's about to happen in the near future is the famine, man. Because DJ Trump enacted these legislations to basically go around and get Issachar off these job sites.
Oh yeah.
And one of the job sites that they're attacking, that's basically going to feed the people, is the farms.
Yeah.
And California is like the number one producer of vegetables and fruits. And a lot of those Issacharites is not coming to work. Therefore, the foods is going to go to spoil you. When you read Revelation is the 6th chapter. Get that real quick. Start at 5.
Yep.
It talk about the famine that's going to happen.
Yep.
So we in the beginning stages of famine because the workers is not coming. And also, it also talks about in Hosea the 9th chapter, the 12th verse, it says Ephraim was planted in a pleasant place, but Ephraim shall bring forth his children to the murderer. Because this place is Babylon with that golden cup. And Esau went around the whole globe and basically colonized the whole globe and made the northern kingdom economy, the money is not worth the same amount that America's money is worth.
Yep.
So now they running through all kind of hells to get up here to get these low wage jobs. But these low wage jobs is 1,000 times better than working in South America.
Yep.
The scripture, that's what it says. Ephraim shall bring forth his children to the murderer. So now Biden opened the borders up and let them come in. It's like the wolf see the sheep. He opened the door up and let all of them come in. Now he closed the door.
Yeah.
Enacted legislation to lock up first, and then he gave them goods.
Yeah.
He gave. I remember we was watching a video where Issachar-He woman had went to Walmart and purchased some goods, and she left her receipt behind and had a whole bunch of money on there.
Oh
EBT.
yeah,
Remember
that's
that?
what people be talking about right now.
They brought them over here and fattened them up, and now they closed the door and they hunting them down.
Yeah.
But during that hunt, Issachar is not going to work. Issachar is not going to work, and the foods is backing up in the stores in the fields. So that's going to lead to a famine. Get that?
Yeah, Con. This Revelation chapter 6 and verse 5.
Yeah.
And it reads, it says, and when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the fourth beast say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny.
A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And when you go into that word penny, it's denarion. It's a day's wage for a soldier. Then when you go into that word wheat, it's choinix. Choinix. It's go into that joint real quick. Choinix. It's basically a portion for a middle sized man. So you're gonna have a day's wage is only gonna be enough to feed a middle sized man, and that's the times we coming in.
Damn, I ain't never went in that. Yeah, Con. Yeah,
It's
so
choinix.
yeah,
A measure.
When you go into it, you want it wheat.
No, a measure.
Measure. Fine. So when you go into measures, you got it in the Greek. It's got choinix, which is a dry. Choinix is a dry measure containing 4 paiole or 2 satari, less than 1 or less than our quart or 1 liter, or as much as would support a man of a moderate appetite.
Yeah, a man of a moderate appetite. We know Jake over here.
No,
his appetite is tremendous.
Yeah, they not moderate. He's Jake over here. When you go over there, I just went to a, had I shot a woman had a, it was like a Dominican place, right? And basically they got gigantic size freaking chicken legs. These chicken legs is like a leg of lamb, One chicken leg is like the size of Shalom. Yeah, one chicken leg is like the size of a leg of lamb, right? Now, most Jake, when they eat, they want more than enough, big portions. You go over across seas and such, there's portion control. You don't have it where all of this processed food, GMOs is all up being distributed, They actually have it where, there's minimally to no processed GMOs and, of course, the food. But Jake, like I said, and that's where a lot of Jake get these big appetites from and stuff. Mainly what? Soul food and stuff, because Jake is hurting. Jake, they want, like I said, they want the oxtail, they want the rice and peas, they want the cabbage, and give me the patty and the cocoa bread with it, right? Enough food, and they want to make sure before I go out, I check it.
And also this food is a drug. You got spirits on it.
Right.
So when you go a certain period of time without it, you get all these cravings. And it forces you to eat. But when you fast, you get all the poisons and chemicals out of your body.
Yep.
And so you don't really get hungry. You know what I mean? The cravings is what make Jake go fucking crazy and run to these Chinese stores.
Yep.
Those spirits that's on the food.
Yeah, the parasites, man.
So
y'all got them parasites in you and such, man. You gotta cleanse them things out, man. You know, and that's a whole process, man. Alkalizing yourself. You know, if you can get into, you know, that. Dr. Sabi had a lot of good information on, you can just hold it in your hand. Hold it in your hand when y'all make the transfer. Yeah, just move this out the way. But Dr. Sabi, he when he was around, you know, he had a lot of good information about alkalizing and stuff. You know, basically eating a lot of wild foods that grow wild and without pretty much farming and such, right? Most of these foods are from the Most High, you know, and they haven't been hybridized and such by man and such, right? You know, the original foods and such is mainly starch, you know, and it just basically make the blood thick and lead you just to disease and such, you know. All them yam and all of that, yellow yam, you know, breadfruit, you know, jackfruit. They got different fruits and all of that. You know, Jake be wanting to eat all the plantain and all of that, sweet plantain and stuff. They don't know nothing about the burro bananas and nothing like that. But in the rice, the arroz, you know, y'all eat frijoles, the beans and such, you know, that Jake like to eat. You know, a lot of these things Esau done weaponized against Israelites and such. And now, you know, a lot of Jake got high blood pressure. They got diabetes and sugar cravings and other diseases, mental disorders, you know. So, you know, you have it with the inflation going up and such. You know, most of these Latin tribes, it's not hitting them right now because they on food stamps. They got $3,000 balances and such, as I was told, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you got so-called white Americans that are angry. You know, they on food stamps too and talking about I'm only getting $2.90 such and such dollars and that I'm not getting as much as them and they don't have to work. No, they should be able to work just like everybody else. And these people do work as such, but they getting the benefits from Esau. But remember, it was all a plan because they all just want Jake to take that Sherrod, which is that implantable device, that MOTB, all right, that C-hip. So, yeah.
All right. This is 2 Kings 6:24. And it says, and it came to pass after this that Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, gathered all his host and went up and besieged Samaria. And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it, until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and the 4th part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. And as the king of
So when you go into these supermarkets, hyperinflation, a dozen of eggs is going to cost $30. One bottle of spring water, $10.
Yeah.
So famine is coming, man.
Yeah.
And it happened in all the kingdoms. That's one instance. But we can go through all the scriptures where the children of Israel suffered famine, even in 70 AD.
Yeah.
When they encamped around Jerusalem, besieged Jerusalem,
Yeah.
it was a famine then too.
Yeah.
So that same type of punishment is coming here for these tribes.
Yeah.
Why? Because we like to worship idols. We like to do what we want to do.
Right.
We don't want to follow Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. We want to follow at the Esau. So this is one of the punishments that's going to come to this nation, because this nation is going to suffer the most. Get Jeremiah 30:7. This nation right here is here to be punished, man. It's for Esau to turn his foot to the side, put it on fire, and kick Jake in his ass.
Right. So you might add to your point real fast.
You got it up.
You know, because like you said earlier about, you know, going to the food and stuff, as long as Jake got food, clothes, shelter, they pretty much okay. You know, so in this place, America, you know, Esau has given them those things, so they've turned away from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you know?
Power. Yeah, say Jeshurun has waxed back and kicked, you know? And lot, yeah.
Jake like to eat, like you said, in spirit, you know, those foods that we was going into,
Staple food.
you know, they're comfort foods at the end of the day. And they're not the healthiest foods, like you said, the even though some tribes'
Rice.
foods are healthier than others, like the soul food is the least healthiest thing you can eat.
Yeah, Negro food.
Here in Babylon the Great versus like Benjamin or Issachar.
Yeah.
Their cuisines are a little bit more yielding fruit of of health.
Yeah. More natural.
Because like you said, Esau weaponized our natural cuisine, because you go into the not even just the Old Testament, but just our culture period. Breads was a part of our culture. Beans, lentils, nuts. All these things were a part of our culture. Even like you said, vegetables. That's why you see Issachar with all the salsa and the pico de gallo and all these things. That was a part of our culture, because all that shit cleans out your body, man.
Leeks, the cucumbers. Remember?
They make fun of Jake because we like spicy shit, but spicy things kill parasites.
Yeah, cayenne pepper and all of that. You know, blood thinner.
That's right. Keeps the blood flowing and stuff. It keeps you living longer.
It stop a heart attack. Yeah, man.
But Esau, he's
Same
weaponized
medical
those
advice.
things. Yeah, you got to say that, right? But
I'm not a physician.
But these just things are just an example of what the brother was saying. The Lord is going to take all that away real soon. Because, like I said, all nigga needs is some food in a house, and he'll be okay. But soon Esau about to take you out your houses and take away your food, and you're going to be in discomfort.
Yeah.
This is Ezekiel 4:9.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Take thou also unto thee wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and fitches, and put them in one vessel, and make thee bread thereof according to the number of the days that thou shalt lie upon thy side. 390 days shalt thou eat thereof, and thy meat which thou shalt eat shall be by weight.
Yeah, so that's about ration, right? It's just going to some rationing and such, right? Go ahead.
It says 20 shekels a day, from time to time shalt thou eat it.
Yeah, from time to time, man. A certain portion. Portion control.
A meal plan.
Right.
Christians call that Ezekiel's bread, which,
right.
in the terms it is like that bread doesn't go bad. Neither, because it's not made of like the natural, just regular barley. But the reason why our bread goes so fast is because they strip the minerals and everything from it. Because bread is actually supposed to be, good for your gut. The best bread you can get here in Babylon the Great is sourdough. But Esau bleaches it, strips it of its minerals so it can last longer on the shelf. Mind you, if you go over to the UK and over there in Europe, the bread, it don't last for fucking 3 weeks.
Back in the 70s, if you had bread for 2 or 3 days, it'd get mold on it.
Yeah.
If you had fruit for 2 or 3 days, it'd start turning brown.
Yeah.
You could have an apple today, and it's all waxy and
forever.
clean. You come back a month later, this shit still look the same.
Hey, bro, I had apples in my crib for over 3 weeks now,
Forever,
brother. They
man.
still
This
say
shit stay there forever. Yeah, you gotta get that star apple, man. Get that with the seed in it. And a lot of these fruits and stuff are genetically modified too.
God, yep.
And remember, they've been compromised by guys such as Bill Gates and that big agro-pharma system. All right, conglomerate. All right, go ahead.
It says, verse 11, thou shalt drink also water by measure.
Yeah, even your water being portioned and such, right? Jake, get used to it. You might have to make this last for a week.
Damn. That's
Like Jake, you see Issachar and you see the tribes, Benjamin, coming out with a dam with water.
Yeah.
Everybody live in Jamaica and stuff. If you don't have no running water, you'll go to a faucet down the road and put it on your head and bring it back to your yard and such. But imagine just being limited to the amount of water you can even drink. Keep going.
Yeah, because that's why the scriptures say, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Because we already exercising, putting ourselves on the diet plan and fasting, so that way when the pestilence come, we can already be acclimated to not eat.
Yep. Right. Yeah, man, and like I say, all really go down. Like a lot of y'all, Jake, y'all got parasites in y'all system and such, man. So, like I say, you start off with just eating fruit smoothie bowl, man, as I call it, good fruits. And eat on that. That'll fill you up and such, man. And then like I said, you got to get into the Irish moss and all of that. And adding herbs to it too. You know, get you some papayas, you know, different seed yielding fruits that are, like I said, think of the alkaline stuff, you know, and start there. And hey, you know, you'll see a big difference in your diet and stuff, and start to eliminate a lot of those different processed foods and such, man. You know, because I could say as a living testimony, you know, I don't have all them different cravings as other people have done, and I actually watched it literally go, because a lot of times, like, you have it when you be walking around in Babylon, you see the damn, like I said, I just walked past the damn, like a food place, a spot, and you smell them foods, them aromas, they bring back memories, and you're like, damn, me just get something real quick.
Yeah.
Nah, you gotta have also self-control and such too, you know, because we have care for our meat and our diet, you know, and like I said, and there's times you ain't gonna have it where you could just go to get the store. The store gonna have a damn regulation where if you can't even get in the store without having that C-hip.
That's right.
Okay? You got to be integrated within the system to be able to even go to the selection process of what's actually available. Because not everything going to be readily available too. You know? So we got to acclimate ourselves to the times and such. Also, you know, I would even say too, you know, hey, start to get back to little small, working with small shops and such. Some of these small businesses, family-run businesses and such, so they can know your face and such, right? You know, and it ain't like you going to damn Target and that person, it's an impersonal experience. No, this is a small mom and pop store, brick and mortar store, where that person can get a good little relation with you, and then, hey, where there's gonna be a bartering process that can go down and such, right?
Right.
You know, I got this and that, or he know you, hey, I throw that in there. You know, I put that, hey, you bought these and that. I know you from working and supporting my shop for X amount of time. Here, I like your personality. Here, get something to eat. And that's all on the spirit. You know, and the Lord got that set up for us and stuff, so we don't even got to worry. Keep going.
And it says, from time to time thou shalt drink, and thou shalt eat it as barley cakes, and thou shalt bake it with dung that cometh out of man in their sight.
Yeah, with shite, which of today, you know, in the future tense is, you know, having, of course, all these different GMOs within it. You know, literally, there's fecal matter in a lot of our foods that we do eat, and a lot of defilement, you know, things that are unethically pure. You know, you got trace of rodent feces within your food, you know, different bugs, you know.
Yeah, because when you flush the toilet, it's going into your drinking water.
Right, that too.
They put a few chemicals in there and say it's clean.
Purified water and such, right? You know, where you like you got even, like I keep talking about Banyamya, because like I said, that's a blessed land. You know, man, a lot of food. Look, land of springs, man. You know, and that water be naturally alkaline in a lot of situations. You know, so. It's healing, you know, regenerating, and it has minerals within it.
You know what's crazy in spirit too? That land mass is 144 miles long.
Yeah,
Jamaica, this is 144 miles long.
Remember, Banyamyan is the West Indies in its totality. You know, so we're not hating on y'all that some of y'all might be from the different islands. You know, because I know Banyamyan, the Benjamites that's in Jamaica get all the hit. You know, like, you know, everybody be jealous and all that, but, you know, as a totality, you know, y'all the West Indies is Banyamyan, as the 12 tribe charts and the apostles do teach, you know, so we got to make sure we push that out there, you know, but remember, we also been scattered too, so our people is all over the places and such, over there in Canada, over there in London, they all over the place, man, but you know, our Israelites are everywhere, so we gonna eat our food defiled amongst the Gentiles where we've been driven. That's the brother gonna read. Go.
All right. It says, verse 13, and the Lord Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them.
Yeah, so we also, that goes to show you, we've been driven across the four nations, or the four winds across the various nations, as it tell you in Deuteronomy, I think 28:64. You know, so we scattered apart. It's a diaspora, and we're gonna be eating defilement within, of course, the foods that we consume and such, man. Right. You know, and it's not like I can even control it, you know, because we ain't going and picking the mango off the tree, you know, or the plum off there, right? If you see a plum tree, I see most of the flies and bugs be tearing that joint up, you know, but that's don't have no pesticides on it. Esau put that thing with a ton of pesticides on it so that nothing touch it. Give it to a dog and see if he might eat it. He may say, nah, he turn his head away from it.
That's right.
You know? You know?
Yeah, believe it or not, in the 70s and the early 80s, you know, on my block, it's probably like 70% of the houses had yards with gardens in it.
Yeah.
You go through the alleyways, they had apple trees, grape trees, peach trees. They cut it all down now.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a food desert. You gotta go to the poppy store, which is the Dominicans, or Moab. And Moab is definitely gonna chop some dogs and cats up and feed them.
Man. You ever go?
That's definitely defilement right there.
Yep. Yeah, you've ever gone to an Asian market and such, you can probably find a lot of different, you know, produce and such and foods that you never commonly see before. But there is a lot of low, dirty meat, man. I seen some stuff, it was just like all fat in there, man.
Yeah.
You know?
They're known for eating that. Like Wagyu is mainly fat.
Aged beef.
Barely any meat
Yeah.
in there, you know. But even like soursop too, you know.
Yeah, soursop.
It's hard to find nowadays, you know.
Yeah.
And that's a anti-cancer, man.
Yeah.
The water. You know, hey, and just in the spirit of that, because I'm about to say it anyway, the reason why even brothers even have allergies is because Esau is the devil and he plants mainly the male trees that have pollen.
Damn.
And they said female trees is the one that give off the fruit and shit. You know, so you got all these male trees that give off pollen, fucking up people's allergies. But the proper balance is put in the female tree to absorb the pollen and then bring forth fruit. They don't got no goddamn female trees no more, because what? Then I don't got to go to the grocery store.
Yeah, man.
And then with the pollen, now I got to go to Esau for goddamn allergy medicines and shit now.
Yeah.
And also at nighttime while Jay sleep, he saw up in the skies with those unmanned aerial craft, you know, spraying the communities. So that's another reason why, you know, Jake got allergies too.
We jump down to verse 15. It says, Then he said unto me, Lo, I have given thee cow's dung for man's dung, and thou shalt prepare thy bread therewith.
You know, so that's gonna be in your food, man. You know, tiyat or shite, you know, in your food, man. You know, so that's just what it is. And on top of that, you got obviously, you know, the Edomites, you know, the other nations, you know, y'all eat at these food carts and stuff. That's Elam and Ishmael. They praying, they sacrificing it to their gods. Esau, he, you know, blessing Chesre Borgia and whatever gods they serve. You know, the kosher, you got a kashar or kosher labels on all of the food and such, you know, that they have, of course, gave to their, you know, false gods and such, right? You know, so all these foods that they say tamah, right? Which tamah is going to, that's the Hebrew word when you see for defiled bread, all right, defiled, and it's unethically clean, it's unrealistically clean. All right, not ceremonially clean. All right, you know, these foods and such that we eat and such. Now, obviously, we say the scriptures say what? The just shall live by faith. So, you know, we pray over our foods and it's only by the grace of the Lord that we still here and such, because we eating it just like everybody else, man. You can't be upright to say you ain't in there and you ain't seasoning the thing like you do back home or whatever, you know? Like, you can't be like, I can't tell you me that I'm 100% alkaline, you know? I'm gonna go and get me, I mean, like, if I'm gonna eat me some rice and peas, you know, I'm gonna eat some rice and peas or something, you know? If I wanna go and get, like, if brothers wanna go out and go and eat, we go eat that pizza, something like that. But it's all about, you know, not basically letting your temple be a temple for idols and such, right?
Sure.
You know, you gotta actually have some respect for Yakalba Page within your vessel and such, yo.
Balance.
And it's just about, balance as the brother go, you know. So we just pray over our food, we have faith, and hey, you know, the Lord still have us here, man. You know, a lot of brothers is mighty in this truth, man, and good cooks at that. You know? But go ahead, Sot.
That was it on that.
Yeah.
Quick precept. It says, Proverbs 25, verse 28. It says, he that have no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down without walls.
Right.
You gotta be able to control your thoughts. So when you get those cravings in your mind, you gotta be able to be able to shut those cravings down and understand that the reason why I'm not eating this food is it's going to lead to disease. So if you don't have that control over your mind, it's like a city broken down without walls. You don't have no defense. So you're going to throw everything in your mouth and you're going to get sick.
Yeah.
See?
You got to be careful because certain foods have certain hit certain vibrations on you. I remember back when I was talking to brothers a long time ago that it seemed like every time, back when I was in college, I would eat me like a good little PB&J sandwich. Poor times. You got college. You don't got no money.
Sharpen bread.
Eat that PB&J sandwich, man. After I eat it, now I want to go. Now I want to go deal with goddamn Keisha and shit. Right after I eat the sandwich, like, damn, I'm kind of feeling Keisha, knowing damn well I shouldn't be doing that shit. And after a while, I'm like, damn, how come every time I eat this shit, I want to go over there and then I realize there's a whole spirit on that shit, man. There's spirits on these foods out here. Why do you think Jake is all fucked up, looked all fucked up? Mine is all fucked up because they eating pork, crab, shrimp, lobster. Just hanging out with you gotta deal what you gotta do in Babylon, but hanging out with goddamn Eve and shit. And Juneteenth they had some shit over here at Overbrook and stuff. Little
West Philly.
Yeah. And Eve always gotta have that goddamn crab, man.
Oh yeah.
That shit be pissing me off, bro. Cause I'm like, yo, they smell it and they run to it like fucking seagulls to bread, man. But that shit is, keeps demons on you, man. Them shit, crabs, lobsters, all these things are the cleaners of the earth, man. Pig, they're literally the vacuums of the earth. Catfish, all that shit, man. And our people are willingly eating it up. I remember my mother told me, she don't eat. Somebody said, "Oh yeah, eat some chitlins or some shit." My mom was like, "That's fucking slave food," which that's real. That's the shit that we had to eat in slavery because Esau gave us the worst of the kind, man. And the reason why Jake's sodium levels are so high up is because it was a tradition passed down to overly salt your food because Esau gave you rotten food, man. Rotten meat. So that's why Jake's custom or black culture is is such death because we had to over salt our foods because Esau will give us fucking spoiled meat. So the only way to preserve it is you overly salt that motherfucker, man. But now that we, the Lord has, I said, loosened those kind of, burdens on us. Now we have a choice of our meat in these times. You gotta choose better, man. So you can live. And that's ultimately choosing the ways of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Lay low on the meats. Try to get more fruits, more veggies in you. More alkaline, like the brother said, more herbs. Them bitter herbs to kill those parasites. Because those parasites literally can withhold you from even understanding the truth too. Those are demons. Legitimately. Look at it under a microscope. It looks like a fucking demon. The ones that Jake used to draw and shit, or you think in your mind of a demon. Look at a parasite. It looks exactly like that shit, man.
Yeah, you the what is it? What is it? The host?
Yeah, the host. Yeah,
the host of it and such.
Yeah, them motherfuckers like Venom from goddamn Spider-Man and shit, man.
Yep. God. Yeah, man.
I got a quick scripture real fast. This is 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 21.
Oh, herb and medicine.
It says, "Behold, victuals shall be good cheap on earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion." Like the brother was going into earlier about the famine. Our people are so used to eating 3 meals a day, okay, which keeps you docile, always got that itis spirit on you and shit, to when that time comes. What do you think the scripture said that for lack of bread and tribulation, they're going to be spoiling and kicking in your doors, A nigga go and 3 hours without eating, he's going to kick in your door waving a fofo, trying to look for some bread. He see you, he hasn't eaten in 3 days, but he see you bringing groceries in your house, he's going to plot on you. This is the time that we're living in. So you need to be trying right now to, or practicing right now to learn how to fast, like the brother said, man. Restrain from these things, but when that time comes, you just rely on the Lord, and the Lord will provide you food in that time when necessary.
Y'all get Genesis 3 and 18?
I get it real fast. You said Genesis 3 and 18?
Yeah, 3:18 Genesis.
Yep. This is Genesis chapter 3, verse 18.
Oh, might read a bit above, possibly.
Let's see. I read verse 16.
Okay.
It says, I'll start at 15.
Mm-hmm.
This is Genesis 3 and 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed.
Yeah, let's go back to, of course, back in the garden, or Eden, Eden, all right, where you have it, what? The woman being, of course, the nation of Israel, all right, of today and such. You have, of course, the enmity between, of course, that spirit that's within the serpent, all right, which is Esau, Edom of today, all right. You have a hatred. You have it's an awayab in the Hebrew, is when you look into it, you know, a hostility.
Yeah,
you know, when you go into it, you know.
Perpetual hatred.
Yeah, Esau and Jake, we cannot get along. Look, try to go to lunch with an Edomite and see what happens to you. You might not get that oxtail platter. They used to get mad at my ass when I was in my job and stuff. They get mad at me, man. Why you gotta eat food that, like, what's it got seasoning in it? They want me to eat the hoagie, the little sub sandwiches that y'all call them, right?
Yeah,
I'm not eating that shit. I want cooked food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they
Give me some cooked food, man.
They said it smells bad.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Man, you're not, oh, you eating goat? Man, what you mean? Like, that's normal for me. Like, if you go into Israelite cultures, what we was sacrificing stuff, goat and all that, and cattle and stuff, what we was doing, man. You know?
Yep.
Yeah, like, y'all don't know how the beef got beef, right? How it got grounded. It was a big piece of meat that came from a cattle, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, y'all don't even know that, though, because you just used to seeing the ground meat, you know?
That's right.
They got to get processed through a grinder, you know, before it becomes that grounded meat, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You know? You don't know, but, hey, a lot of people don't know where their food came from, you know? But, hey, go back to the Genesis. We going to show you how the enmity is there, you know? So then where does all of this come from? How come? Because remember, Esau, the wicked, got control of the earth. Well, if we a difference in adversity, so of course this man would hurt us and give all these different things within our foods and destroy us.
That's right.
You know, because he has the control and he has a wicked mind. Say the soul that's with them is not upright in them.
That's right.
Okay? Go ahead.
Quick,
Come
quick,
on.
stop. Let me get this.
All right.
It says Genesis 25, verse 22. It says, and the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went out to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Right, so we are 2 manner of people,
man.
which you should go into manner. We got a different manner than these other these Edomites. You know, we got different customs, different virtues. Look that word up and such, man.
Even
No,
mannerisms, man.
right, a whole form of fashion. You know, I damn see a damn Edomite, man. Edomite just walking around like all goofy and stuff. With he might be walking around barefoot. He don't brush his teeth when he first wake up in the morning.
No hygiene.
No clean hygiene or something like that. You know, he don't. Hey, he might wash up, save the water. Like I heard Edomite say, "I'm gonna save the water, man. I can save that water." Dude, you manky, you balling. Like you rank, as I said, like you rank. You know, just stay away, man. You can't do that. We can't do that.
Yep.
You know?
Oh, no
Yes,
washcloth? Yeah, they don't use They said there's no point in using a washcloth.
Yeah, you just use a bar of soap and rub it on their body and
Right.
shit. Like, that's not gonna do anything for you. It's not effective at all. You gotta scrub.
You need-
know,
yeah,
gotta
you-
exfoliate.
Yeah, exactly. You need some exfoliation and such. You need some friction. Like, remember the scriptures say, purge me with hyssop, wash me thoroughly, right? When you go into that, that's like with some force. You know what I mean? When you look into that definition and stuff, when you wash up, man. Go ahead.
Yes,
So, yeah.
Because
Yep,
it
go
was
ahead.
a spirit, because, I don't know, I just randomly went to my photos and was looking up parasites when y'all was going into parasites.
God.
And I found this quote from this early so-called Jewish Zionist by the name of Aaron David Gordon, right? And he was going into the manner of the people and our virtues, and it's different from the customs of the heathen.
Yep.
You know, and it says, and this is what he said. It says, we are a parasitic people.
Damn.
This is from
Demonic.
Amalek himself.
Yeah, demonic, man.
That's
Fuck.
demonic.
You know, he's telling the truth about his own kind.
Yeah.
He said, we are a parasitic people, we have no roots in the soil. And that's spiritual too, because they're not Adam.
Right.
Adam came from the dust of the ground.
Right.
You know, Esau just telling on himself. You know, he causes his tongue to fall upon himself. Right. It says we have no roots in the soil. There is no ground beneath our feet, and we are parasites not only in an economic sense, but in spirit.
Damn.
Yep.
Yeah, demons, man.
So like they say, like even like how they say he a culture vulture too.
Yeah, bro.
Right? He just feeding off of everybody, man. This man don't have no heritage, basically, man. You know?
That's right.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. That's crazy.
I think of like Malachi, man.
He said because they're parasite not only in like what they do physically, but in spirit.
Exactly.
You know, so their whole spirit is off. They're literally like, because we said in spirit.
Yeah, you get that too.
They're demons, man.
Habakkuk, yep.
Yeah, Habakkuk too. Like,
Oh shit.
yeah, like 4 or something like that.
Yeah, and it says, and we are parasites not only in the economic sense,
Yeah.
but in spirit, in thought, in poetry, yep, in literature.
They steal everything, bro.
Yeah.
It said in thought, so their thoughts are not even their like. They don't have no original ideas.
Exactly. Yep.
They always pick and take from everybody else and shit. You know, they said that Esau got most of his gods from Ham. So he don't even got no imagination in himself to come up with some shit. He got all